What's going on, y'all? So about a few days ago, I had a feeling that I didn't really have a sense of direction in life. I didn't know where I was going. But I prayed to God for clarity and a purpose. So that night, when I went to sleep, I had a dream, and it was really strange, and I didn't really understand it at the time. And I don't really have dreams when I go to sleep anymore, so I kind of knew it was a sign from God. But so I remember when I had this dream, I remember I wrote it down when I woke up because it was just so strange and I didn't really know what to make of it. But okay, so here's the dream. I remember me and my brother, we kidnapped one of my old friends, and I remember we were in a truck and we took him to this dark, secluded area. And then I remember we got out the truck, we escorted him out the truck, and I remember I shot him for whatever reason. But then this whole story didn't make sense. But dream, sorry. This dream didn't make sense at the time, but I knew it had to be a sign, kind of. So I wrote it down the next morning. And when I shot my friend, I remember thinking I could get away with it at the time, in the midst of the moment. And right after I shot my friend, I was just teleported into this courtroom, and me and my brother were being sentenced. And I remember I was crying. Not crying actually, but I was crying out, trying to say I was sorry, and to the judge, I didn't mean it. I was wholeheartedly trying to get out of this situation, but I knew I couldn't escape it because I already knew the action I done. And I was trying to get out of this situation so bad because it felt like I knew I was being sentenced to eternity. It felt like I was gonna spend the rest of my life in prison. And I remember thinking that me and my brother were the only ones in there in that courtroom. But then I just randomly looked around, or I looked behind me, and then I saw the friend's family. And then I think the dream just ended right there. I don't know why, but you know how dreams are. They just end randomly. And I remember I had no idea what to make of it, but I kind of knew it had to have a meaning. So I remember I just wrote it down because it was just so strange and just weird. So I just wrote it down. And then the next day, I'm just chilling or whatever. And I remember I watched a video about this dude, and he was speaking about his testimony. And he was saying he died and went to hell for 15 minutes or something like that. And it was just a really interesting video. And it made me think kind of. It kind of changed my perspective about sin. And then a couple hours passed, and I remember the dream just randomly popped in my head again. So I read it again, and it made so much more sense because everything about the dream had its own story to it, its own example to it. But basically, when I reread the dream and it all made sense, every part to it, it just clicked. And so here's what I figured out. When me and my brother shot my friend, when I shot my friend and I thought I could get away with it, it made me realize that it was kind of like sin. When you commit sin and you think you can get away with it at the time because you still have the opportunity to repent, But I was like instantly teleported to the courtroom after, and I was being sentenced for what I did. And that's kind of like, you never know when you're gonna die. Like, I never knew I was gonna be instantly teleported to that courtroom, like right after I shot my friend. So you never know when you're gonna die. Just like I never knew I was gonna be teleported. And I remember thinking nobody was there in that courtroom to hear or see the terrible act I committed. But something just made me look back behind me, and I seen my friend's family. And that's kind of like God. You think nobody's watching you when you commit sin or do bad things, but God is always with you, and He's always watching. And it also made me realize that God always answers your prayers, but it might always be in ways you don't expect. I realized that this was the clarity that I prayed for, and I'm grateful. But anyways, that's my dream, and that's my story. I hope this video found the right people, and I hope that you all have a great day and a blessed day. See you.